President Assad's rule over Syria only ended 5 days ago. But today his country was unrecognisable as hundreds of thousands of his former subjects took to the streets to celebrate his fall in what they called Victory Friday. Syrians across the parts of the country held by the HTS-led rebel forces gathered in city squares after the first Friday prayers since the former president's departure. In a moment, we'll hear from our chief correspondent, Stuart Ramsay, who witnessed the celebrations in the city of Homs and saw Russian forces in retreat. But first, our international affairs editor, Dominic Waghorn, has this report from Umayyad Square in Damascus.
They came in their thousands to one of Islam's most holy sites, the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, to worship together in freedom.
We are together. We are as a one person. All of us, we are as a one person.
Sunni, Shia, Alawi, Christian.
We are a one person. We are in the mosque, and I say we are the one person. Assad.
In their uprising, Friday prayers were the focus of their resistance against Assad. As today's drew to a close, the roar was deafening. This is the sound of hope and liberation without fear of being killed by a regime. Now it's been toppled. Earlier, the leader of Syria's revolution had urged people to gather in Damascus.
I call on the people to head down to the square to express their victory without firing arms and causing panic. And after that, let's move on to build this country.
The crowds built up all day. They came to capture the moment. Many could not contain their euphoria.
I see in their face, smiling, happy inside their heart. It's unbelievable. You cannot believe like that, because this moment, we wait until 15 years, we wait this moment. All the people, they wait so much, and at last, it's come. It's come, we are free.
Abdul Rahman has lived all his life under the tyranny of the Assad family. His words and actions controlled by the regime. Not anymore.
We can say things we have never dreamt of saying before. We can do things. Never thought of cursing the ruler and cursing Assad.
How does that feel for you?
It feels great. What a good time to be alive, you know?
We are all in one wedding.
It feels like a wedding for everybody.
Yes, it's like wedding.
Like Ruba, they can now dream of a better future.
And what do you want to do in the free Syria with your life?
To develop our country. To raise it in one hand, to develop it and become like other countries, like Britannia, for example.
For 50 years, this has been forbidden, spontaneously gathering on the streets, totally banned by the government without its permission. Well, there's no stopping them now.
There are huge challenges ahead, uncertainty about their new leaders and future. But whatever it brings, so many here tell you, it can never be as bad as what they've been through. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Damascus.
This is really quite extraordinary. On the road near Homs, an enormous convoy of Russian military vehicles heading northwest towards a Russian military base on Syria's Mediterranean coast. The convoy was unimpeded, the Russian flags clearly visible on trucks, trailers and armoured vehicles. A witness told Sky News a series of convoys were made up of over 1,000 vehicles. In this convoy, armoured fighting vehicles and troop carriers are clearly visible. These pictures suggest the Russians are withdrawing from bases near cities like Homs. And here, they were already celebrating in huge numbers the end of the Assad regime. This would be the icing on the cake. Whatever else may happen in Syria, there was a determination here that this was to be a day of celebration. In Clock Square, where some of the first spontaneous demonstrations against Bashar al-Assad began in 2011, the numbers were absolutely massive. The crowds were overseen by revolutionary fighters on rooftops, and no guns were allowed into the square. This, they said, was Homs Freedom Day, a sentiment shared by all ages and all sexes.
How are you feeling today?
Oh my God, I can't even describe this thing that's going on right now. It's a massive, huge happiness. We're all experiencing this together. We haven't felt this way in a while, like right now, you know?
Tell me how you feel today.
Very good and happy because we are free. We are free. Freedom!
There was some segregation in the crowd, but Homs is a conservative place and nobody seemed to care.
There's obviously considerable uncertainty about what the future holds for Syria, but this is an incredibly momentous day. And although there are concerns, this really is a day of celebration.
The Omar bin Al-Khattab Mosque was packed to the rafters from way before prayers. Sheikh Mahmoud Dalati was the spiritual leader of the uprising in Homs. He has returned from exile to deliver a sermon calling for unity, law and order and no retribution. Use the courts, he said. Clerics carry a lot of weight here, but they can't guarantee anything. Syria may have fundamentally changed, but nobody knows the direction it will go. Stuart Ramsay, Sky News, Homs.